welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to provide a thorough tutorial on how to use WinXVideo AI. Now, this is actually part 2 of our 2-part series. The first part is a short little 4.5-minute review of the product. It covers some of the things we're going to talk about here, but in much less detail. We've watched a few other videos that look like they're just ads for the company. We will point out the limitations, and we will explain where this product is very useful and where it's not. The marketing claim is that WinXVideo is a powerful, all-in-one media processing tool that uses AI to enhance, restore, and upscale both videos and pictures. And what we can tell you right at the start is, that's correct, that is what this does. However, this tool is not for the professional. If you know how to use Virtual Dub, which is a wonderful freeware tool, then WinXDVD is not for you. If you have licenses for Photoshop, then this tool is not for you. If, however, you are a standard home user, or even corporate user, who needs a simple, clean tool to impressively fix some existing content, like old videos and pictures, without any real complexity, a tool that just works, and most importantly, for a lot of people, a tool that isn't $100. Well, then this tool is for you. Let's just start off with the price. You can see back in 2022, their special promo was $45. Now, you can buy it for $38. So once you add inflation in and work it backwards, that's about a 20% drop in price. And they're kicking in some additional tools on a 6-month trial at no extra cost. Now let's get to actually downloading and using the product. Go to the download center and download the free trial, then you get your license. The install is obvious, we're not going to go over it. One of the things we did confirm is that it doesn't contain any malware and doesn't install extra junk, so it's safe to use. And we have been using it in this office the last 4 years. Okay, let's start it up. The first thing you probably want to do is go into the settings and just take a quick look around. Your very first time in, actually, it'll evaluate your hardware and tell you what you've got. But you might just want to go through here and confirm that these settings are what you're looking for. And yes, I know this is really weedy, so if you don't understand it, just leave it at where it is. But you can see there really aren't that many settings. One of the things we change is the output folders. Okay, let's go into Image AI. The very first thing you want to do is look at the top right-hand corner. In my case, I have a dedicated graphics processing unit, a GPU. So I want to select that because any work that I do with it set on CPU will be slower. And you'll see in the video processing section that we'll get to in a minute, it's about 3 times faster in our case to use our GPU instead of our CPU. The next thing is interlacing. Doesn't really exist anymore, so we're going to skip that. Before we get into the actual AI models, and there are 4 of them here, we'll go over each of them. Let's get some content in here so you can actually see what it does. I've selected 3 graphics and I'm simply going to drop them, and you'll see that it starts working on them immediately. Inferring means that it is actually making the changes. It already has its models trained and ready to go. And let's click the split screen option up here, and you can see how much clearer that is. What are the 4 different models? Gen 3 detail model, that's the default for both stills and for video, and that's the one you want to use most of the time. It's great for everything from fur, you know, a little detail in fur, to faces, the pores on people's skin. As you can see here, it does a great job on this photo of my irrigation system. Real Smooth is great for very flat surfaces. So let's say you have a picture of a sky, right, where there's not a lot of depth perception. That's where Real Smooth comes in real handy. It brings out a little less detail. The next is Anime, and this is for sharp graphics, not photos. So if someone has drawn an image of a car or a robot or an anime character, that's where the Anime option really shines. And ZYXT is good for speed. Its quality is less, but it's faster. So if you need to produce a whole lot of drafts or something, that's a great way to go. For most people, they're going to toggle between General Detail and Real Smooth. I'll leave this on General Detail V3. Now, by the way, in settings, you can change things to version 2. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. We're expecting a version 4 to come out shortly. And because you've bought a lifetime license, you'll get that upgrade for free. Next thing, resolution. This is upscaling. You know, you've got a low res graphic and you need to not only make it sharper, you need to make it larger. Well, this defaults to 2 times. You could set it to simply image enhance, which is just 1 time. And you can see here on the left, that's your original, is 1000 by 750 in this case. And it's doubling it to 2000 by 1500. Those are pixels, by the way, dots. Let's set it to triple just for fun. And this will take a second and do its inference again. Now down at the bottom, I can change the zoom level. So let's set it to, about 100%. Look at that detail difference. Just massive improvement. Set it back to the default. You can see the difference here, but when you zoom in, you can really see it. Now you can set specific resolutions if you need it to be a particular number like 4K, as opposed to just multiplying it out by a simple factor of 2 or 3 or 4. Let's get on to image restoration. Now let's flip over to my grandfather, and you can see this is a tiny little picture. You can see it's made it twice as large, and you can see how much it's cleaned it up. Look at that. It's really substantial. Let's set that to 3 times because there are some details here I really want to get into. Let's go to colorizing. And there are 2 different kinds. There's HyperColor and Deep Color. Deep Color is looking at the graphic and trying to infer what colors were actually there. Take a look at the seat he's on, the little cushion. And you can see it's made a difference. You can also see in his tie. Now, compare that to Deep Color. Deep Color, WinXVideo's AI tool just guessing what the colors would be. Now take a look at the eyes. Be very cognizant of those eyes and watch when we click face restoration. You can see his eyes are closed. And that's because the AI rebuilt his face and it really did clean it up, but it screwed up the eyes. Now I've done this a fair amount. I haven't seen that before, but this was an example I thought we could use to demonstrate some of the limitations and issues you might have. All right, let's go down to export down at the bottom right. What do you want? You want JPEGs, PNGs, and what image quality? 100% is awfully high. Most people would want to reduce it down to about 90%, and then just click run and it will output all 3 of these images sequentially. Now, if you were letting this run overnight, you might want to shut down your computer afterwards. Simply click shut down the computer when this conversion is completed. Still images are usually processed quite quickly, just like you're seeing here. And that stands in contrast to video. So let's close this and go to Video AI. And let's take a video with very low quality from about 20 plus years ago, and we'll just drop it here. You can see this is only 320 by 240 and 30 frames per second. And let's do the split screen again because it's so much easier. And you can see, boy, it's really cleaned it up. But you'll also notice one of my 2 daughters has a terrible nose here. What's that about? That's the model not getting it right. Let's change that to real smooth. And that is spot on. That is huge. Let's set it to 3 times. And again, just wonderful. And again, you can set it to specific resolution, or you can simply improve just this video without actually upscaling it to a larger size. Frame interpolation. What that means is adding missing frames. In particular, if you've got a 30 frame per second video like this one, and you want it to be 60 frames per second, say you've got somebody, riding on a bike or swimming where there's a lot of action. It may look a bit choppy at 30 frames a second. So boosting it to 60 can make a big difference. And what is slow motion? Well, slow motion will not change the frame rate. It will simply add those frames. So if you've got a 10-second video and you set it to 2 times with slow motion, well, now you have a 20-second video. Where is that useful? Sports and high motion activities. But there's something called a jello effect that it can also create, because what the AI is doing is looking at frame 1 and then looking at frame 2 and using vectors to figure out where each of the pixels changed, where they moved to. Then it will split the difference and recreate an entirely new image that did not exist by moving the pixels 50% of the way. So you'll have this awesome, super clear image, but every second frame, assuming you have it set to 2 times, didn't really exist. It's pretty cool. And skip scene changes, what that does is not create new frames when there is a switch of scenes. For instance, somebody having the light on to having the light off, or a hard cut in the video. What it's trying to do is avoid the choppiness between scenes. Stabilization is a complete waste of time. It flat out does not work in WinXVideo. We have tested it with video moving left to right, up and down on a tripod, and then tap the camera a bunch of times to create jerky movements, but we've not been able to discern any improvement using any of the settings in this product's video stabilization. We spent no less than 2 hours on this particular feature today before we just gave up. So don't waste your time on stabilization. Now, that's probably something they'll fix in the future, but right now, WinXVideo is terrible for stabilization. And by the way, that's because it's using AI to do the stabilization. The older method of using vectors, which you can get in the D-Shaker feature in Virtual Dub, is dramatically more effective. However, Virtual Dub is not for the faint of heart. You need to have some knowledge of video to use it properly. We love it, we use it all the time, but the market for WinXVideo probably precludes that. It's just too hard for people to use. So if you're looking for video stability, this isn't the tool for you. Now in here, we could also crop this. So say we wanted to cut a bit of this out, we can grab these crop bars and just slide them along. Say you only wanted these few seconds. And remember, you could stack up a whole lot of videos here, click run, and it will dump them out for you in a single batch, which is so helpful. Now the export settings, they're a curiosity. Quality level, we have found that high is your friend. So we've exported this already at 3 different quality levels, medium, high, and highest. And you can see the size difference in the file is massive. High was 13 megabytes, pretty small for 30 seconds of decent video. Nice compression. Medium made virtually no difference at all, but the highest is about 16 times larger. Oh my! This is the 30 seconds of my daughter's at the high output.
What's that, Daly? Is it the first chocolate of the day? And what day is it today?
It's Christmas Day.
2000.
Yay. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so it did a great job of clearing this up. Like you can see the stripes on the cat, the pixelation is gone. It's really done a great job. And we could show you these other sizes, but just trust me, they look the same. Keep your exports on high, which is the default right here for quality level. The GOP is a group of pictures. Now you probably think that digital film is like physical film, which is there's an entire frame every well, in this case, 1/60th of a second. But that's not how digital works. To make it smaller, they use the notion of a group of pictures. So in this particular video, as an example, my daughters move around and the cat back here move around, but the rest of it doesn't. So the codec, the H.264 here, is smart enough to only have the data that's changed. But they want to make sure it's consistent, doesn't get out of whack. So how often does it put an entire frame? Well, that's what this is. So in this case, at 60 frames per second, that's every 1 second there will be a complete frame just to clear up any mistakes. And I would just leave that alone. Now let's look at some of the quality differences between the older version 2 and the new version 4.9 and certainly probably version 5 from 2 years later, so 2024 to 2026. These are the real screenshots. Do you see a difference? Yeah, I don't. At least not a notable difference. So what has improved in recent years? Well, these additional AI models are helpful in different kinds of video, and certainly they've added new features and new compressions. So for instance, you can now export MKVs, Markarovs, and you can see these other codecs are super helpful for people in specific use cases. So what else has gotten better? Well, mostly it's in performance. It's not actually getting a whole lot better picture quality. What's getting better is the speed. So on the same hardware, the video exports and saving the images will render up to about 40% faster. And they've also introduced some new tools like the audio AI function, which we're not going to demonstrate here, but you actually might have a use for it. All right, so let's get to wrapping this up. What do we think of WinXVideo AI? Well, they've added a few features, fixed a few bugs, and made it run cleaner and faster. You do not need to have a GPU to run this. It just sure helps if you do. Let's show you that timing, by the way. So here is a video that I was running just through my CPU doing the conversion, and I was getting 1.2 frames per second. If I ran it through the GPU, I was getting 3.3, so more than 3 times as fast. It really does make a difference, but you don't need it. Stabilization was terrible, and probably the most disappointing and most frustrating part of our usage of this product. Because my understanding in particular was that that feature, while it didn't do much in the past, had been substantially improved. And I proved today, myself, it has not. I've got to go use Deshaker with Virtual Dub, which again is not for the faint of heart, not for people using this type of product. Who is this product for again? It's for people that are not highly technical, that just need a single tool to clean up images and videos. But it doesn't do things like get rid of cracks in photos. You know, if you have a paper photo that you've scanned, it can't fix those. But with these criticisms, why do we still think this is a great product? Because you won't find anything as useful for 40 bucks. It is absolutely worth that amount of money for the features that it offers. And keep in mind, they do keep improving this. New AI models, new features, and new functions. What it doesn't do today, it'll do in the future. And unlike an awful lot of these picture and video tools, this is a one-time, lifetime license. It is not a monthly charge or an annual subscription. And I have to tell you, when we started using the product, we thought it will work, you know, for this entire build, so version 2. But it'll fail at version 3. We won't be able to get any upgrades past there, and their argument will be, well, they're now onto a different product. Version 3 is a whole different product. Nope, that's not what's happened. We have all of the version 2s, all of the version 3s, now all of the version 4s, and we expect version 5s and 6s and so on and so forth in the future, all for the same one-time charge. So hey, if you found the video useful, please give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe's also appreciated. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always get a hold of us directly at www.urtech, that's www.urtech.ca, or you can leave a question or a comment below, and if we don't get back to you, somebody else will, because yeah, you just know on YouTube, everybody's got an opinion. Thanks and have a great day. Bye bye.